You're listening to Data Center Therapy. Please take a number, and an engineer will be right with you.
Welcome back, everyone, to Data Center Therapy, a podcast from Ivoxy Consulting that talks all things IT with a healthy dose of empathy. I'm your host, Inverted Matt Yeti, and Kaz will get to that, by the way. And alongside me is my co-host, Matt Cozzolino.
Where's that wire go?
Yeah. In each episode, we dive into the wide range of technologies that make up this beautiful sandbox called IT that we all play in. We share our hopes and dreams, opinions both positive and critical alike, all with a touch of empathy, because at the end of that day, we all need a seat on that couch. Let's get the announcements right out of the way. Hands-on network automation with Ansible. This is an awesome class. You think automation, you think systems, you think scripting, all this, but networking has a big role to play in that, and it can really take advantage of those technologies. So our very own Keith Emanuel will be teaching that January 19th to the 21st. So now you're getting close. Now we're inside a month.
We are.
Yeah, and you're going to be a part of that, right, Matt?
Yeah, we just did our dry run yesterday. Went through the content, went through how it works, made sure everything's put together, and it's shaping up to be pretty cool. I'm excited.
Does it work?
Well, of course. I mean, there's always...
Well, for more details...
Yeah, there's always stuff to fix and fiddle, but yeah, it works.
Nothing catastrophic show-stopping, though?
Nope. Nothing
That's
there.
Good.
Just
That's
workflow.
Good.
Just like, okay, let's smooth this bit out here. Let's,
sure.
That's it. We're good.
Yeah. No matter what you can repeat or automate or standardize, there is ultimately unique stuff for every class, and therefore that has to be done. Unfortunately, we can't automate that away.
It's actually kind of interesting. We saw the same kind of thing, and I'll expect we see the same kind of thing with Ryan's class. We do all the planning, do all the prep work, and then we put people in front of the instructor, because we do it, internally first. And wow, that really shows you what you need to work on, what you need to address here, because...
Right. You can imagine how it's going to go, and then, how it's been going, how it's going now, kind of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if for more details to register for that, to reach out, it's ivoxy.com/Ansible. So definitely check that out. And again, we're inside a month now until that class kicks off. So if you have an Ivoxy rep, reach out to them and get on that list. If you'd just like to find out more about it, ivoxy.com/Ansible. Okay, so we don't like to date where these episodes are because we're not exactly sure where they land, where they publish. And I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I'm pretty sure these things will go after... You'll be listening to this after at least Christmas, maybe not New Year's, but at least you'll be listening to this after the Christmas season. But that doesn't mean we can't still talk about it, right?
Right.
Because, like people still have birthday weeks, birthday months, which don't get me started on that one. It's like you're 42 and you're celebrating your birthday week. Oh, how special! Anyway,
I have to ask how old I am nowadays.
You ask yourself?
Well, ask the girlfriend. Ask Devin, because I don't remember. I'm like, I don't know, 30-something.
My body tells me every day when I get out of bed.
Well,
come on, man.
Old, right? Yeah, but what's the actual number? That's the one.
Right. Well, I turn. Oh gosh, should I even expose this? I'm not shy about it. I consider it taboo. Once the clock turns 2021, that will be the year that I turn 40.
Kinda, right? This year
not
now
40
I'm...
yet, but right. My next is now the big 40, and historically, I don't think I've in my life have dreaded it or feel midlife crisis, all that kind of thing. I don't think I subscribe to all that, but I guess we'll see when the rubber hits the road. So you might want to put out a watch on me come September 2021, Matt.
I figure I already went through the midlife crisis bit when I was living on a boat and doing that. And what do I want to do? So I don't know.
Well, listen, you can't lose hair that's already been lost either. That's
true.
Kind
there
of the
is
bright
that.
side.
I could just shave. That'd be a thing. Shave the whole head bald.
Yeah. I think you wear the horseshoe well.
Yeah?
I think you should probably... Yeah, don't. I mean, you take chances with that. I worry about it. Like, would I ever just shave my head as a goof? It'll grow back fast, fine. But I don't have a single gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, boy, I'm tempting fate. If I shave that off, it's all coming back stark white, probably just as a
In my
cosmic joke. Yeah. Okay.
Real
So
stuff.
so it is kind of a potpourri episode. We've been very heavy topic based, and we're still in the midst of our on-demand lab series. We still got more to talk about there, a lot more to talk about. But we kind of wanted to put our feet up a little bit and have a little more fun, a little less targeted conversation here, and talk about things about the Christmas season. But one thing that's very front in my mind right now, and we've always touched on it in a lot of our episodes, are like TV shows and movies. One that I will give full credit to you, Matt, for turning me on to that I probably would never have watched had it not been for you, is The Expanse, season 5.
Is season 5 better than season 4? I know you're struggling a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a full rewatch of the show before season 5 started. So
Okay.
Amazon Prime has it. They have followed what I believe is Apple's lead in doing the first 3 instead of dropping it all at once, because I don't like that model, believe it or not.
Here's 20 episodes. Go for it. It's too much, right?
And I don't think it's a good idea for a show, because you're in the conversation so temporarily at that point in that zeitgeist, right?
Right.
You're in there for a week and then that's it.
We don't get to chat about it, and then wait until next week for the next episode and chat about it again. Yeah.
I mean, there is no water cooler at the current time, and there has never been Frivoxy outside of our Slack channel called Water Cooler. but I believe Apple started this model, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Netflix doesn't drop. But Apple basically, when they introduce their shows for their new seasons, they drop 3 episodes day one. Mm-hmm. And then it's week to week. They just do one, a normal release. And I like that because it kind of scratches that, like, I've waited a year for this show. Now I got to only get 43 minutes of content. Now I can go bam, 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 kind of satiate yourself a little bit, and then you can anticipate week to week. But you've had that itch scratched. I like that model. I still wish we'd go back to like 18 and 24 episode seasons, personally.
That would be great. I'd be up for that.
Yeah, because when you have a 10-episode season, you're a third of the way through already after week 1 with a 3-episode dump.
All of a sudden, we're almost done, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what...
So I watched that... I watched the first 4 seasons of Expanse over again, and the 4th season was a little more enjoyable, but it did not touch the first 3, in my opinion.
They did a lot of world building in there. Yeah.
They did, and then there are, of course, the apologists who say, "Oh, it's set up for season." I'm like, there are no such thing as set up seasons. That means it's a bad season. The season has to have something. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was bad. It wasn't up to what I had gotten with the first 3. But the 5th season just started last week. Last night was the 4th episode, and it was. I mean, people are calling it the best episode of the series. I still think Eros and stuff around that might hold that first magic with all of that going on. Yes, but it is certainly. And Matt, you've read all of the books?
I've read all of the books. I'm waiting for the new one. So I was actually the end of season 3. I was waiting for that to happen, and you saw all the tee up and waiting for that. So I haven't yet watched episode 4. So I just got that set up. I think we might watch that tonight. So.
I'm having a hard time. I know people love the books, and I'm typically a reader, not an audiobook person. I know you love audiobooks.
Yep.
With no need to commute, that takes a real big venue off the table, right, for audiobooks. And I'm very visual, and I love to read. It's weird. I love to read and consume news and all this stuff, but books, ebooks are tougher for me for some reason. I try to do it when I work out, and I just find myself like, I'd rather do something else.
Yeah.
Both work out and read.
That's the one spot that it fits, is I've got to be doing something that doesn't take a lot of active brain power. Mowing the lawn, working out would be a good one. Driving's pretty good because it's just kind of there's a consistent focus.
If you're working out, and then you have the audiobook going, are you tempted to flip through your iPad or whatever and read something, and then, of course, not pay attention to the audiobook? Does that strike you at all?
No.
Okay, see, that's my challenge.
Sometimes I'll do that. Like, I'll pick up the phone and start flipping through something and get distracted. Yeah. And I notice pretty quickly that I've missed some of the story. I've missed some of the, the attention isn't there. So it's got to be something that I don't have to actively think about.
So that's what I'm going to, I think, do, is I'm going to tackle the audiobooks for The Expanse. Do you recommend?
I do. They've
Okay.
got a single author or a single narrator.
Oh, good.
Which actually I've got a totally different book that I'm listening to, and it's he did a great fourth wall break. Where
Oh.
where one of the characters is like, yeah, I was listening to this audiobook, I know, but, and he calls it out. It was funny. It actually made me laugh out
Does he
loud.
do the Belter accent?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he does.
Okay. Anyway, so the Expanse is on Amazon Prime. I'm not hawking Amazon Prime. Chances are everybody has it already. Not Prime Video, but Prime. And this just comes, I don't know, I don't pay for extra Prime. It just, because I order so much stinking stuff off it. I have Amazon Prime,
right?
and it comes with the video. So, The Expanse is 4K UHD HDR, and it's one of the more beautiful shows certainly out there. And so it's very good. So I got to recommend it. Season 5's rocking so far. I'm loving it. And news come out that next season, at least on Amazon, is the last. And don't spoil it for me, but
I know we've got a couple more books that are supposed to come out. So
you have 9 total books is the plan.
Yeah, and
from what I understand.
We're not there yet. So it's got that video production
don't spoil it for
through
me.
them. So I don't know how they're going to do that.
From what I gather, don't spoil it, is that the seasons have gone with the books more or less.
They have.
So season 6 will more or less be book 6, from what I understand. I haven't read it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've also read, without spoiling myself, that people say, well, something happened. I mean, 7, 8, and 9 are so not what the show is now that kind of makes sense, and it leaves room for like maybe a movie adaptation of the final 3 or a different miniseries or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been reading so far. And then the creators come out, and I believe, and said, like, he hasn't said it's going to do this, but he said there's conversations about after season 6 ongoing. So all hope is not lost.
Probably.
I still miss my Deadwood.
Yeah, we got into that.
Show's canceled too soon.
We got stuck at, I want to say, the end of season 2. We need to get back into that. There was one of the characters. They did a bit of massaging to the storyline to make it adapt better for TV. So the one of the characters is like a combination of 3 characters in the book.
Yep.
3 unique characters in the book are now combined into one. So you see her move through different roles.
Well, that's not a spoiler for me, is it?
No, it's I don't remember her name. Who was running the station?
Oh, wait, is it Drummer?
Yeah.
I've heard that. I've read that.
She is 3 different people. So
she's a great character in the shows.
She is
very popular,
and it makes it work, right? That's exactly the thing. Kind of like what was the other one they did that with? Chernobyl, the scientist lady.
Yes.
She was really like 4 different people, kind of a thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy, what a miniseries that is.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Harris is awesome. Chernobyl. Also, Anderson Dawes in The Expanse, and is not on as much as I want to see him on screen. He's fantastic. Anyway. So, okay. So, sorry if you are into television whatsoever, even a little bit, and sci-fi does not completely revolt you, you absolutely have to check out The Expanse. It's fun, and hit us with your theories. And no spoilers, please, though. No spoilers for the book readers. The other thing I want to talk about that I saw, early October, I think, briefly in Washington State, movie theaters were allowed back open, and Tenet was still in theaters. And this, if you're not familiar, I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan, so he goes back to he did Memento, The Prestige, the Dark Knight trilogy. So those 3 movies were him. And then he went on to do Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and now Tenet. This is latest, and it came out this summer, and it was supposed to be this massive blockbuster. And his movies are always really high concept, but also like Michael Bay action or better quality to I know people are probably rolling their eyes, but Bay does action, no question. Whatever you think of his movies is another thing, but Nolan's been able to pull off action. Well, Tenet, he loves to play with the concept of time. Mm-hmm. Inception is my favorite movie of all time. Yeah, really good.
It was.
And the thing about Inception is I was able to actually grasp all of it after 2 or 3 viewings. Like, I got it all. I could turn to you and say, this is what's happening right now. Tenet, I'm 2 viewings in. Not there yet.
It's not stuck. No.
A whole lot of reading.
Yeah.
A whole lot of reading theories, which helps in videos. But it also forces you to watch the movie through a different set of conceptual eyes, which is really difficult, I found.
Like put on a different set of glasses and from someone else's point of view, or?
Yes. So, Tenet is about they basically you can invert time. You can invert objects, and so you can reverse their entropy. Okay. So it starts out with a bullet that basically you don't fire from a gun, you catch it into your gun. So imagine yourself, Maddie, now inverting your own entropy, where you now, everything you do, you still look at yourself and you're forward moving. Right now you could be inverted, but you're now moving backwards through time. So to me, you look like you're moving backwards. Even though in your own perception, you're moving forward, everybody else is moving backwards. Okay. Reverse your entropy. Yeah. And so there's all of that, and then that's somewhat of a form of time travel because you can invert yourself, go live there for 30 minutes, and then re-invert to normal entropy, and now you're 30 minutes in the past.
So you kind of, okay, yeah, you just gotta wind it forward and backwards. Okay.
Yep. Problem is, and Nolan has been hit on this a few times, is his sound mixes are always very, very sound involved. He's used Hans Zimmer on a lot of his movies, all of that. And it sounds great, but a lot of people struggle with the dialogue. Me and you, I know, we have tinnitus. And whenever I go to a movie theater, I bring my nice Audio-Technica studio headphones, and I say, give me that little box that
I have yet to do that. I really want to. I need to do that.
Yeah. So what it is it's not just the dialogue. It's just I would say it's just a clean mix of the sound. Now, you're not going to get big thumping bass, and that's good because I can still feel it in my friggin' chair.
But the rest of the theater's doing the big thumping bass, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it's, that you can adjust your volume, and it keeps the dialogue close to your head kind of thing. So that really helps. It did not help for this movie. It was that bad. Where my wife, who doesn't have tinnitus, is like, I caught like half those words in that movie. It also doesn't help that part of the movie, the characters are actually wearing oxygen masks. Yeah. To further insult you. It's like
more mumble.
Yes. So it's frustrating because I'm sitting there in a 2.5-hour movie that collectively we paid like $50 for because it was in the Dolby Cinema and all this nice stuff, right? And I'm like, I'm struggling here. And not only that, it's a very conceptually difficult movie to follow anyway. Yeah. So Blu-ray came out last week or a couple weeks ago, and 4K, HDR, gorgeous, of course. And most importantly, Subtitles. Nice. Yes. So, I've been living with subtitles for 8 or 9 years now, and so totally used to it. And even in any movie, I find I understand it better because, again, you're reading, so your mind is comprehending the plot in another way.
I've gone in so far as to turn on subtitles for video games that I play. So the cutscenes and all of the dialogue there has got subtitles because pew 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 I can't understand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Tenet, I've watched it now another time. I mean, the thing is too, it's 2.5 hours. That's
a big
my
commitment.
Age.
Yeah.
That's the thing. At my age, I can't, and I don't feel like I can, without shame, just put my feet up and couch it all day for a straight day. Like
right.
Every once in a while we need a rest day, but even then I feel like I'm wasting opportunity to do something else.
Maybe a couple hours, throw your feet up, and then it's like, you know what, I need to go putz in the garage or sweep something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've watched it once since then, and I absorb it more once you get the entropy and can put your mind, because you're watching things happening as the two worlds collide, of course, basically, and no spoilers there. And you're just not really sure what point of view you're watching from, or how did that happen, or how is that? And but it's really good. It's I think the guy's name is John David Washington, who's the lead actor, who's fantastic. Robert Pattinson. So he was Twilight, Harry Potter. I don't know what else. Good actor, by the way, good actor. Elizabeth Debicki, that really tall blonde girl from she was in Man from U.N.C.L.E. She was in The Night Manager, another television series that you should all watch.
That's the British
she's like
one you were talking
6'4".
about, wasn't it?
Yes, she's like 6'4" without heels.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
I've seen her.
Yes, yep, she's awesome too. A lot of and then Kenneth Branagh, Sir Kenneth or whatever. I didn't know him by name, but he's outstanding in it too. He's a villain. So
Oh, Wes Chatham is in
great
it.
movie.
Chatham. Amos.
What?
Amos is in.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
In what?
In Tenet.
What
SWAT,
is he? What?
SWAT man number 3.
I did not know that.
He's in there.
Oh my goodness, Amos from The
Burton.
Expanse.
Yep.
There is our synergy right there.
Yep. I really like the backstory that we got when he went to Earth. I did like that.
It's not over yet either. You're gonna like.
No.
You're gonna like. Yeah. Well, you know.
There's the books, and then they do like episode 2.5, and it's all him growing
the
up.
little novellas.
And then they do little filler books like that, which are great. So
yeah, that is cool. Okay, so that was a heavy lead in to our supposed main topic, which probably is going to be secondary now, but Christmas projects. I'll jump right in.
Mm-hmm.
I permanently installed LED lighting on my house this year.
Yeah.
It was a last minute thing.
It was? Yeah. Where did you source them? Like
Amazon, and it became difficult because it was last minute, because stock.
Okay.
Everything's coming from China.
Yeah.
You know? So, I did a ton of reading and research on just LEDs in general, and really it started with my backyard project. Mm-hmm. We have that patio and the landing that comes off the house are at 2 different levels.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a retaining wall essentially that curves around, that separates the platforms.
Mm-hmm.
We have a cap on the wall. I'm like, ooh, I want to splash that wall with lip lighting.
Mm-hmm. And
that would look neat. And then the kitchen I built, I wanted to put lighting under the lip of the countertop to splash the quote unquote cabinet, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what started it all. That's what got me down this road. And now it's like, I want to light everything. I want to put lights everywhere.
Light everything up, yeah.
So I decided on 5-volt light, 5 volts, not 12. The real difficulty
DC
with 5 volt is you need to inject power pretty often.
Mm-hmm. Now,
what you would think as a fifth. Go ahead, Matt.
I know we talked about that a bit. And I don't remember. Are you doing? Is it just one power supply you've got, or are you doing multiple power supplies per?
You cannot connect more than one power supply to the same contiguous run. You don't want to do like injecting 2 power supplies. That's bad news.
Okay.
They say that'll fry everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big power supply. It's a power supply transformer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5-volt, 60 amps, so it'll do 300 watts.
Okay.
300 watts at 5 volts. But
then you're pushing DC.
You would think
over...
you're like, a 15-foot LED strip at 100% brightness, one strip, you're going to get drop. So if you do white, 100% bright, it's going to be yellow or red by the end of that. So what I have is the lip of my shop garage, and then the peak that goes over my main garage, and then the roof line that goes down my porch and down the front. It's a ranch, pretty standard shape, but that is about 100 and something feet length. So you're talking 6 full 5-meter strips.
Right.
So what I did was I have 18 gauge 3-wire that I basically stripped out a single pair, 2 wires with it, and I ran an additional set of lines, and then at each time where the strips met, there was also like the power injection wires on each strip that are kind of just piggyback onto the plus and minus, and I also wired that in. So you've got current or voltage running parallel with the strip, and then jumping in, so it doesn't have to jump through LEDs and theoretically not carrying amperage down those lines.
Right. What do you need for a controller for that? Like, what hooks up to the actual light strips itself? Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part. So you got a million different kinds of light strips. I did ones with a +5, a -5, and data.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what plugs into that data? I'm using a library called WLED.
Mm-hmm.
It's free, open source. Guys really respond. I mean, this is like his life at this point.
I've heard
there's like 300 open issues.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And the guy started it a couple of years ago just as a hobby. Well, so basically, you can run it on a lot of things, but usually I don't think it's made to run on a Pi. Like you think, oh, it's easy. I'll just load it on a Pi. No, think Arduino.
Okay.
Think
Smaller,
low power.
even, yeah. So
right,
and would you need additional controllers if you broke up each one of those strips? So we can't put multiple power supplies per strip. So if we were to take that 100 feet and break it into 150 feet and break it into 50 foot, 50 foot, 50 foot, would you need a controller for each 50 foot?
Depends on how you want to do it. So if they're all wired together, 150 LEDs, and you wanted to break them up, WLED lets you do segments. You say, I want to start at light 0 and finish at light 49, and then this, and you can apply different effects to different segments, and so you can do that. If their data lines are not daisy chained together, right? So now you've got standalone runs, depending on the controller. So the controller I use is an ESP8266 Outback.
Okay.
It can run up to like, I don't know, 1,500 lights. But it's like a 26 megahertz processor. It's limited in resources. You can only use on that model one data pin. You can hack it to use a second, but for that model, the answer is pretty much no. Like you can, but the thing is, I got 3 of these things for $13, and then you can get the ESP32, which I think lets you use 4 data pins, and those are like 3 of them for $20. So just get the beefier guy.
Cheap,
yeah. Yep. So I think the answer is pretty much yes.
Okay.
But again, they're so cheap where you just, what I found with the ESP8266 as a challenge is their Wi-Fi antenna is not wonderful.
No.
So I have some string lights in my front lawn, not permanently installed, right?
Yeah.
But they're using this box that's on the front of my deck.
Yeah.
And even though it's just, probably 20 feet from the Wi-Fi access point, it goes through the house or the windows.
Yeah, the windows are the big ones, right? Yeah.
Oh, they attenuate like crazy. So I replaced it with an ESP32, and the signal is actually much stronger.
Quite a bit.
But so those controllers, I mean, you open up a little utility on your computer, you plug the thing into USB, it sees it as a serial device, you load the bin file off GitHub, boom, flash. It starts up in like a second and a half. It's broadcasts a Wi-Fi access point. You join it. It says, hey, here's your splash page. Do you want to configure these settings?
Yeah.
And you can have it join your existing wireless network, grabs the DHCP or static if you tell it, and then you can start controlling it through a web interface.
Nice.
It's got APIs. It'll subscribe to an MQTT broker, message bus, JSON, HTTP. It's a pretty amazing little device. They're fun. Stability issues here and there, but the neighbors love it because it's like, it's cool. I rotate effects, and then when I hit my goodnight scene, instead of it, just in case someone's got their window open or bedroom or whatever, and don't get me wrong, they're not, the effects are not obnoxious at all, and they're not meant to be. I'd hate that. I want them to look classy, not trashy, but it switches the effect to the really like light twinkle for the duration of the evening. Like it doesn't rotate through anymore. So once I hit goodnight and I've gone to bed, it kind of calms the lights down until the morning when sunrise happens, they all shut off.
Okay.
So that's fun.
That's one of the conversations we had because we just moved and there's a lot of, we got a Christmas tree up, but that's it. So I've got a whole year to now kick this kind of a thing around, and I'll be hitting you up some more on some of that
I was going to just do this next year, and then I started buying stuff on Amazon. And it's like sitting in my pile. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
All right, let's do it. Make it happen. Yeah.
And it was between that or it's about time to go up on the roof.
Yeah.
Pardon me. About time to go up on the ladder and get these things installed, and I just did not.
Let me just do this once.
Want to do it. I didn't want to do it. So Probably one of the more expensive, not the most expensive. The most expensive was six of the strips at like $22 a strip.
For
But
50 foot?
the next what's that?
For 50
16.4. So they're 5-meter strips.
So,
Yep.
okay.
650.
That's
You're paying about a buck and a half a foot, more or less.
That's not so
in
bad.
that ballpark. Not bad. The channeling was a little bit more expensive than that.
Because
So it is this
something
lightweight.
to put it in, yeah.
The downside is they're only 1 meter lengths.
Ah.
I wish I could have had a 10-footer or whatever. It just makes, But anyway, they have these little clips that have little tension at the top and bottom. Another negative is the screw is minuscule.
Tiny.
So you're up there with your drill and it's barely fitting in, and it's just so anyway, I went up along the trim all over the shop, but then once I got to the part above my garage, it was more of a traditional overhang and soffit, and I just right against there, clip here, clip there, snap the little aluminum bar in, and it just holds.
Nice.
And then they butt up against each other nice. And then the LED strips, these ones were fully waterproof. I think it's not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not
going to
supposed
put
to
it
get water in
outside,
there.
yeah.
Problem is, the fully waterproof ones are almost like a sleeve, so there's no adhesive. The semi-waterproof, the IP65s, and the non-waterproofs have the stick peel already on them, so you just peel the paper off. These have nothing, so I had to buy a separate roll of 3M, which is like the foam stuff that you when you compress it, it really. The problem is that stuff to pre-peel it, that doesn't want to let go. And then I was up there and it was cold one morning. And the adhesive didn't want to stick because
it's temperature sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I used that along the bottom of it too to tack my parallel power injection wires down, so they weren't like sticking up and all that. So anyway, ran all that up there, ran the LEDs, and then there are these plastic diffuser caps. So basically, it's just real thin, white, semi-transparent.
So you don't get
opaque still.
A bulb, it just kind of it spreads it out, and you get the.
And you can still see the individualness. And a lot of my effects, what I've done for the Christmas effect, is I've actually skipped every other LED.
Okay.
So it gives more of a bulby feel and less of a strip feel.
Okay.
And I'm doing 150 LEDs per 5 meters, which is good. They make 300 per 5 meters. Well, of course, double your power also.
Of course.
But that I don't want it to look like a laser bar. I want them to have the bulby feel to them. So yeah, you can do all of that and then tie it end to end and a lot of electrical tape to squeeze the junctions together so they can fit in the channels. And then those little caps snap right on. They're white. You can't see them during the day. No? You cannot tell that I have lighting installed.
Is your trim on the house, is it white or is it a different color? Yeah? Okay. So it blends in with the white then.
The fascia's white. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And along the front of the house, the long straight part, I just popped it right underneath the gutter along the front of the fascia. You cannot. And what's cool is at night it even kind of projects up onto the bottom of the gutters too, so it gives a nice little. It looks fantastic. I'm very happy.
I stopped by the other day and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, thanks. It's pretty cool. And right now I'm battling bunnies out front under my deck. They chewed through one of my power lines for the LED strips, of course. Not the strips, but the lights in the front. So
you got to not
do something
use peanut
there.
butter as a joiner.
As a binding agent.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot to think about for next year, but I'm happy to kind of help advise you on that and see what's up because I think it's worth it. Hopefully it'll be low maintenance, right? If I don't have to go up every year twice on a ladder, put up and take down, that's a win.
I'd be looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to do something to get the pine needles off of the friggin' roof because we kind of live in a forest and it's pine needles.
You got
everywhere.
You got a blower? You got a blower?
I don't have a lot of things right now because I haven't been a homeowner yet. So there's a lot of things. A ladder being one of them. Probably hook something up and do like wheeled water spray something. And run that up there so I can just hose the roof down basically.
Yeah, if you do get up there, a battery powered blower. I got a Milwaukee with a C18 volt battery on it, and that thing is it's fantastic. And one of the things where battery power really comes in handy, the other thing we talked about is that battery powered circular saw. Best tool I own.
Yeah.
By far. Not having to search for an outlet or an extension cord every time I want to use it. Fantastic. I'm going to start shaving with it.
There you go. When we do this again, you got Band-Aids all over your face. We'll know what happened.
Yeah, or worse.
Yeah.
So what are you what are you dealing with the new home, right? Are you baby stepping it? Do you got projects you want to dive into?
There's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. The big one right now is my biggest capital improvement project is I'm replacing the well pump, which I ordered the pump online, and the website from the East Coast said, order today, ship today. I called him yesterday and he said, yeah, it's on back order, so we'll see it next week. And I'm grumble. So that's the big capital project. Other than that, it's the smart switches right now, and I went the Lutra and Cassetta route. So I've been one or two switches here and there. As I get bored in evening, it's replaced those. The biggest struggle I have.
Shutting off the circuit first?
Sometimes.
Oh man, my electrician guy's like, nah, no problem. I'm like, no.
It depends. It depends on what I'm doing. I did, like I showed you the shop lights in the garage. Honestly, the shop lights in the garage, I was amazed at how badly lit the garage was when we moved in. So finding the 4-foot LED shop lights on Costco, getting those up there. A lot of that I just flipped a switch off and rewired an outlet instead of
if it's behind a switch, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But usually when you're doing the switch,
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing behind it outside the breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I always have shut it off and did it again on a 3-gang, and I had in my family room, not realizing that there were actually 2 circuits landed in that gang box.
Yep.
I didn't get hit.
No.
But I felt a little tickle at one point. Whoa, what's going on here? And I flipped it. Oh, what? That light's still working. Wait. And I ran to the garage with the...
There's been some interesting things. Reading the wiring diagram and going with, like, I can put the smart switch over here and have a still mechanical switch over there, but I need an extra wire between them. Well, fine, then I'll just use the remote over there and make it look like a switch, right? That whole process. The other piece that's fairly interesting is the cabin portion was built in the 60s, and the other portion was before that. So the cabin actually has breakers, like traditional breakers. Really old, but traditional breakers. The other half has fuses. Screw-in round fuses. So that's been interesting. I've got, in the mudroom, I've got one set of lights on a breaker in the house and one set of lights on a fuse in the garage.
And it's funny because the fuses, that's a very common thing on the East Coast where I'm from, because our buildings on the East Coast are far older, right? Mm-hmm. They're even older. So I remember growing up in a home and we had fuses, and, I was born in the 80s. It's not like we're talking 50s, 40s, So, yeah.
This is the first time I've got to deal with those, which is pretty interesting.
Well, luckily out here we don't usually have to deal with going down into the basement and using a hairdryer on our pipes so they won't freeze. That I remember from growing up too. We don't really have to deal with out here so much.
I do have to, speaking of the well pump, I do have to do something out there because that's outside and that's a whole separate area. So it's got power out there. I can run a lamp. I can run a heater or something. Talking to the guy I'm getting parts from, he suggested that I get a little kerosene heater. So if the power's out for a couple of days, you can just sit that in there and turn it on. So
my father-in-law has he is one of overkill.
Mm-hmm.
He will, why do 16 inches off center when you do 12 off center when building a deck? Like, he will put extra pieces of wood and extra work in, even past the point of practical benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But, certainly it's never going to be a quality problem. But, so me, I'm a little more casual about worrying about freezing in this time, with the irrigation system and everything. He's way hardcore. He's got a part of his, where his backflow preventer valve is out front. He's got that wire that's wrapped around it. Mm-hmm. And at night it's on a timer and it turns on, or a temperature timer or something, where it kind of just transfers heat. I use under my outdoor kitchen where my water comes up, I just have that heat lamp on a smart outlet. Mm-hmm. And if the temperature drops below 38, I have that heat lamp kick on. So if I go out in the morning, I see the red glow underneath the cabinets. I'm like,
it froze.
It's going to be nice in there. Yeah, I just got to make sure no animals get in there and set up shop.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's the only thing.
That was the intent, was a heat lamp or something. We're right on a main road, so I don't expect power to go out for very long. But that's absolutely the thing is, if it's out for a day or two and we don't have electric, then that heat lamp, that wire doesn't do anything, right? So
Yeah.
trade-offs like that.
That's one of my next things, generator.
Yeah.
Natural gas. I know you don't have gas, but I'm gonna do a natural gas gen. You could do diesel.
I could. We got heating oil. What was the other one? The hose bibs on the outside of the house are not frost free, so I'm gonna swap those out.
I didn't know they made frost free ones.
Well, I mean, yeah. So the shutoff on the frost free hose bibs is it's like a 6-inch hose bib, and there's the flap that mounts to the house, and then it goes in 6 inches.
Yeah.
And that's where it shuts the water off, and then you shut it off and it drains. Right.
Oh, okay, sure.
So the one I have right now, it comes all the way up, and the valve is right on the hose, which is outside of the house.
I see. So I might even have them because I know the long ones.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I didn't realize that's how they termed it.
Mm-hmm.
I've just seen those foam cups that they put on the outside
right now.
Yep. There you go. And I still, wouldn't you think that's probably a little bit of overkill where we live?
The little foam covers for the faucets?
Yeah. I mean, it must not be. It just seems
not
like.
Necessarily. I mean, if it freezes.
Yeah, I guess not.
It
doesn't take long.
It doesn't take long. It takes that water expands. It's a fascinating thing.
My wife and I lived in my in-laws' RV while we were renovating this house when we bought it during the month of December 2017, and we had the water hook up to our hose bib, but the nice 100-foot hose running along the ground in December overnight that froze right up. So no shower in the morning. That was fun.
In the morning.
So yeah, okay.
I distinctly remember growing up, and it's going to get cold tonight, so the faucet in the kitchen is trickle, trickle, trickle.
No trickle. Yep. We didn't think to do that.
Trade-offs.
Well, outside of that, I think we can wrap up. I am eager tomorrow. I'm using my outdoor grill for the first time. I know it's December.
I need a grill.
But I'm using it for the rotisserie.
Oh, there
rotisserie.
You go. There you go.
You know what I'm making? I just bought
What'd you do?
an 8-pound 4-bone prime rib.
Nice.
So I'm going to rotisserie cook that and then finish it with the infrared burner on the grill.
Is that going to be
Give it a nice...
Is that going to be Christmas dinner? Or is that
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve? Okay.
Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And I have, whereas Thanksgiving has always been a thing, and wherever I've lived back home, not back home, but back where I'm from, my East Coast, Thanksgiving has always been, you eat. Christmas has not been about like a meal. I know when I would go to my mother's parents' house, my grandparents over there, they would have a cooked ham and cookies and potato salad and pasta salad and all kinds of stuff on the kitchen table, but it was a graze as you will in between chats and all this. It wasn't a let's all sit down and eat. That was always a thing, but in terms of a meal, Christmas has never been that for me. But I wouldn't mind making Christmas Eve ours, and so I'm going to do, we have that Evo grill, right?
There you go.
And one of the things that I love to make is blackened Brussels sprouts, cast iron Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
And they're healthy, and they're fantastic, but I make them in a cast iron pan. Well, I'm making them for 8 now. Well, I got a 30-inch cast iron surface,
there you
more
go.
or less.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fry my Brussels sprouts on that, and then do the prime rib on the rotisserie on the grill, and then sear it with the infrared burner.
Nice. Taking
temperatures and just not wanting to go above medium rare. My goodness.
Of course. You're going to do real
but that should be good. So Brittany went to the store for me. She's like, "Stay home. You're gonna take someone's head off at this grocery store. So just stay home." And so more and more, like, I just want prepared horseradish, which is the root and vinegar. God forbid, the stores that no, we know better. We're gonna put up all this bunch of stuff. We know you want the sauce
or the Mexican.
I know.
The special stores like that. That's where you get that. Yeah. I can't find duck fat for the life of me. We've stopped at 3 or 4 places. It's all sold out, which is not surprising.
Duck fat fries. Duck fat fries. Yes. Anyway, so yes, she got basically it's horseradish. It's got a little bit of sugar in there already. Like,
Mhm.
but I'm just going to add sour cream, really, and Dijon mustard anyway to
What?
it.
What? No.
Oh, I'm
not
going to
with,
make a horseradish.
No, with prime rib, you need horseradish, like burn your nostrils out horseradish.
I know. I don't disagree with you, Matt, but my dinner party would disagree with you. So
okay, so
I
you
would
can
be
make some of each, but
yes. So mostly that. I will keep some of the prepared off to the side
Okay.
just for me. But
Okay,
yes.
there you go.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll let you know how it goes. I'm sure I'll be sending you pictures. Hopefully
Good.
it'll be nice and gorgeous pink.
Good.
Yes.
We're doing we're gonna stay home and cook, and we're gonna do a chicken and kind of do a Thanksgiving dinner with a full bird, a full chicken instead of a turkey for just the couple of us. So spend the day doing that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I should have practiced with a chicken on the rotisserie. I know, but my plans come together so often last second,
Yeah.
and it's just like, gotta go.
Yeah.
But I was out there with the rotisserie gear and figuring it all out. Like,
you gotta get it
I don't
balanced. That's the hard one.
Well, and I don't know how long it's going to take the. I mean, they say like 20 to 30 minutes a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
But I also hear that about like a pork shoulder on a smoker, and it always is like a 2x, always. So I got to make sure we're eating before 10 p.m. at night, also. So.
Well, you're gonna start like tonight, right?
Yeah,
no,
right,
not.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and
You
and
too.
if we don't talk before then, yeah, thanks, a Happy New Year as well. It's kind of a season where it's lighter interactions with our customers too.
Mhm.
Everybody else is on vacation in addition to some of us. So we hope everybody out there stays safe for the holiday and has a very festive and safe Christmas season for sure.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah. All right. One more reminder: hands-on network automation with Ansible
Sign
with
up
our very
now.
own Keith Emanuel and Matt Cozzolino, featuring special guests like DJ Clue over here, Matt Cozzolino. Find out more at ivoxy.com/Ansible. Yeah, thanks again for listening to Data Center Therapy. Matt, always good to see you, man.
You
Talk to
too.
you soon.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.